morning, everybody listening in to our Inspire podcast brought to you on behalf of NSA Houston as their president this year. We have an awesome guest that I can't wait to introduce you to and let you listen to all about the great things she's doing. Robin Christian is our president for ICF Houston this year. And so, Robin, thank you so much for coming on.
Excellent. Thanks, Megan. So happy to chat with you this morning.
Absolutely. Now, you and I have chatted off and on throughout, our joint happy hours that we've done with NSA and ATD and ICF and ACMP and HODN and ABCD. There's a lot of groups we've been doing. And, we've gotten to know each other. So for those that haven't gotten to know you, share a little bit about yourself, if you wouldn't mind, and kind of how you got into coaching.
Yeah, happy to. So yeah, for everyone who is new out there, hi, nice to see you. I started my career in HR and quickly learned that generalist was not for me. So I wanted to, find an area of HR that, as I call it, is the good side of HR, not the dark side, and quickly moved into training and development and spent most of my career working in organizations, over 25 years, working with leaders and employees, helping them grow and develop skills. Left that world in 2019 to start my own business and become a full-time coach. In my role, Megan, I worked with a lot of external coaches. We had them for high potentials, our executives, and other programs throughout. And I always really valued the impact that they had on the individuals they worked with. So I knew it was something that I wanted to do. And so, as I said, in 2019, I took the leap. I opened my own company, Core Capital Development, and have been a full-time coach externally ever since. So I mainly support leaders in their growth and development and do leadership and team coaching as well. It's been a great, just about 5 years. Really enjoyed it.
Yeah, absolutely. I love how you call it HR, the dark side, or there's a good side and the hard side. Because,
There's definitely a dark side to HR.
Yeah, and congratulations on how long you've been in business, especially since starting your own. It takes a lot of gusto and know-how to continue doing that. I'm curious, how'd you get into ICF Houston? And for those on the line, what is ICF Houston?
Yeah, happy to talk about ICF Houston. So ICF itself is a global membership organization for professional coaches. It's got several different components to it. I'm part of the professional coaches. And something that's always been important to me is, really having top level skills. And that's what ICF is all about. It's about rising coaches up to the highest level of standards. We're an unregulated organization, hoping to keep it that way. And so ICF has a couple different arms to them. And one is providing accreditation for training programs, and then also credentials for coaches. And so we partner with ICF is a chapter underneath the global organization. We're local here in Houston. I've been around for a very long time. So we represent, ICF represents the highest level of coaching available. And so it was really important to me to get connected with that. So that was one of the first things I did was get involved with the local chapter to learn more. I wanted to get connected with other coaches, learn what they were doing, network, and really build business with them. And so one of the first things I did was find a way to get on the board. And I've been on the board for the entire time, so in different roles. And as you said, this year, I've been the president for the last 2 years. This will be my final year as president.
Yeah, wonderful. I did not know it was last year and this year. Is that normally how long president years are for ICF Houston?
No, typically the cadence is president-elect, which is VP, and then you go into president, and then you become past president. So it's kind of a 3-year commitment. But we had a little shift in our membership. We actually had a year where we really didn't do much. And we can talk about that if you want to. But when we restarted in 2022, I committed to a 2-year term just because I wanted to make sure there was some consistency for the chapter as it got restarted.
That makes a lot of sense. And I feel like COVID 2020, the whole
Yes.
impact of it, it definitely hit NSA Houston too, because they went virtual. And so, well, congratulations on 2-year commitment, standing it up, really supporting it. And I know for this year, as you look about, your fiscal year is January to December, right? So coming up in
Yeah.
December is when you'll hand the reins. So for this
Yes.
year, you're halfway through, or I guess, most of last year and this year.
Mhm.
What's the strategy ICF Houston has as far as bringing value to members and what they're doing in the city?
Yeah. Great. Love to share about what we're working on. The When we restarted in 2022, we did have just a slight shift in our focus, and we focused really when I started the chapter back up in 2022. Our focus was connection, and it was all about connecting coaches together and with clients. And so we really spend all our time and energy in those two areas. So we bring our coaches together to build each other up, for development, for networking. So it's a very collaborative environment. And then we also highlight coaching in the community of Houston. And we do that in a number of ways. We do it through some pro bono, and we do it through some partnerships as well. And our goal is whenever we have a member of our Houston community looking for a coach, they come to us. We're the experts, and they come to us. We have a find a coach directory, and so it's very easy to find a coach that is operating at the highest standards. So if you see a coach that's on the ICF Houston website, you can be confident that they have been through an accredited coach training program, that they have the skills, knowledge, abilities to perform at the highest level, because we go through testing with ICF. And then we also adhere to the ethics and the core competencies of ICF, which to me is most important. There's a lot of people out there that call themselves coaches. And so we like to make sure that we differentiate ourselves with those ethics and core competencies that we adhere to.
Yeah, definitely. I love the credibility behind it. It's around the world. ICF is the stamp of, for coaches. As you're
Yes.
thinking about everything that's going on, great strategy, getting involved, the title of this series and the podcast is Together We Rise.
Yes.
So I know you and I have worked about it. Tell us a little bit about where this thought came from, because the Together We Rise ties back to our first conversation back at
Yeah.
the ATD conference. So yeah, what would you like to share about that?
Yeah. I don't really know where it started, but I think one thing is coaches aren't just coaches. We usually have something else that we offer. Maybe it's training, like I come from a training background. Maybe it's speaking, like Megan. There's all kinds of different things that we also have, and that has created, you know, some consistency in the organizations around Houston. And it occurred to me that we all serve organizations and people kind of similarly. And so I think one of the first people I reached out to was NSA. And yeah, I just reached out to the president at the time and I said, hey, let's talk about how we can partner. How can we leverage each other? Because there is this common theme of serving others, and helping them grow and develop. And so, yeah, it really took off quickly. A couple of the organizations you mentioned, NSA, ATD, HODN, and the Change Management, ACMP, um, quickly came together and wanted to collaborate, open up communications, and really how can we learn and leverage each other. And yeah, I think you and I were after we had the first happy hour, we had a conversation about what else can we do? How else can we keep this going? How can we rise up this community in the Houston area to support our organizations? We've got big organizations here, so they need our support.
I couldn't agree more. And our organizations support all of corporate. in Houston. Nonprofits, I mean, we are the backbone of
Yes.
anybody in our field of speaking, training, coaching, change management. We are in everything. So I really like that Together We Rise, because for NSA this year, our goal is to do just that and really step into more of how do we help and support keynotes. Yes, right. Everyone thinks of NSA, we're on a stage, which is true. But I would say most of our members are trainers and coaches, and we've had comedians come to our meetings and pastors. I mean, it's anyone that makes a living with the spoken word that, like you said, it shapes that community and shapes, well, serving others. Now, I know we've talked a little bit about what your strategy is for ICF Houston, and you and I have chatted about NSA Houston. What kind of things do you think we can collaborate on together to really drive home and walk the walk we talk about Together We Rise?
Yeah, I think we've got a couple things we've been talking about. I mean, for me, growth and development is so important. So how can we as organizations grow and develop our members? So that's critical. We want to be of the highest quality across the board. And so we all have different skills. And so how can we leverage those to make sure we're lifting each other up? And then I think the other thing is really what kind of impact can we make on the Houston community? I mentioned some of the pro bono work we do, and what else can we do together that can truly make a difference in our community to help rise everyone up, not just our organizations.
Absolutely. I'm right there with you. And we're already starting to plan, this big event we've kind of flirted with the idea with on how do all these groups come together to do something more than our networking happy hours, but something tying into Houston and really promoting that, because not only does it feel good, right, Robin, but it attracts people to a greater cause than just business when you're the community service aspect. Well,
Yeah,
I'm excited for
absolutely.
this year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's one thing about we've already started doing some of that, right? With our happy hours, we've always tied it to an organization, and our members have really stepped up, and we've really had a great time contributing to some of the different organizations across Houston already. So I'm excited to see where we take this.
Yeah, what was it? We've done Dress for Success was, I think, the
That
first
was
one
our
we
first.
collected. Yeah, it was a huge box of donations.
Yeah.
Then it was Memorial Herman. Do we do games
Yeah.
for all of the pediatrics and everything? And then
Yes.
the last one was for, do you remember the last one?
The last one was Houston House or
Houston Haven. Yeah,
Haven. Sorry. Yes.
yeah. So lots of, as you can see, folks out listening, we are active in the community trying to really, together we rise to live it, right? How do we have business and professionals, a lot of consultants, but how are we not forgetting about rising in Houston and really focus on what value do we bring to our community and to the city?
Yeah.
So Robin, thank you so much for your time today. I have got one more fun question that I end every podcast with. So can you tell us what's a hidden talent that you have?
Okay, a hidden talent. Well, I think it just kind of lines up with how I've spent my career. I have this unwavering belief in people, in their abilities to grow and complete things. And so I think, that's just been my passion, is seeing others really come into their own and find their confidence and really figure out who they are. And so I've done that through coaching and development throughout my career.
That's awesome. Doesn't it feel good when you know your purpose and you're living it and it creates this
Yes.
like fire of motivation?
Yes.
Well, wonderful. Thanks again for joining us. And folks out in the audience, make sure you are connecting with Robin and ICF Houston on LinkedIn, social media platforms, sign up for their newsletter, go see an ICF Houston meeting. There's a great group of people involved there. And if you're curious about NSA Houston, feel free to let us know. We are working together with all these organizations. You'll see more podcasts come out to say just who and how are we collaborating for the vision of the future. Because no matter where you are, remember to lead where you are, and together we rise.